Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of my interview with Simon Curtis. So right now, Simon is currently doing his online launch, and his book is available to buy, and it's actually here, and I've got a copy of it. I'll show you a little bit more about this book at the end of this interview, but let's jump back in where we left off last time. Simon talks a little bit more about the chapters involved. Simon talks a little bit more about the chapters in the book. He breaks them down a little bit. We also talk about the social media and its influence on Farrier, and we also just have a little chat. What's Simon's future looking like, and what advice and tips that he would give to you guys watching this video. So I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Let's get straight to it. So I just want to go on from there, and I want to kind of get your impression. I do a lot of YouTube videos. Yeah. I do Instagram posts, and I try and put as much content on there, as much value in the content, so people can learn a little bit. I do the Facebook as well, and I just want to notice you've done your fair bit. On Facebook, you have some great videos. So what's your opinion on social media, and how is that should we be embracing social media within Farrier? Should we be using it? Do you see it playing a big role with it?
It is a big role. Mm. Everybody will say, "Oh, it's dangerous, Facebook." Mm-hmm. But it's only dangerous if you put something silly on.
Yeah, yeah.
If you insult somebody.
Yeah.
If you lie. Mm-hmm. If you think it's funny to put something on that's really, should we say, nasty or.
Yeah.
So I think if you think twice before you put things on.
Yeah.
But of course we have to embrace it. I mean, I've never managed to get such a good audience. I mean, I'm not sure how many, I would say I've got 5,000 friends now. I'm not sure how many keep up with it, but we get plenty. And I try and make it informative. You said your videos, you try and make it informative. But I try and keep it fun. It's got to be fun.
Yeah,
it's got to be enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shoeing horses is hard work. We don't need to be miserable about it. No. So I try and make it informative, and I try and make it enjoyable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I've never made a mistake on Facebook. But you try and do it the right way, and we keep pushing on with that. Facebook is the only social media that I either know or do or understand. I do have, I think, an Instagram. See, I'm getting as bad. Instagram. Set up, and I think even tweeting. But I don't tend to do that. My daughter does a link, and puts it on, and we may develop that more. That's one of the things I'd like to do. I'd like to develop all of them more.
I see it in a good way, because I think it encourages everyone seeing these nice pictures coming on. They're seeing these little videos or little clips on, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, wherever it may be. But I think people really only tend to show some of their nicer jobs, and I think everyone's seeing that, and it's really pushing up the bar, and people are trying to do better every time. So for me, on that side of things, yes, you have that element of social media where you may post something that upsets one type, or even some of my content, some people will discuss why I've chosen a shoe for this or things like that. But I think on the grand scheme of things, it's promoting a higher standard right across the board, because there's that many people that are interacting with Facebook, interacting with any social media platform, even clients and other farriers. I think it really does push that bar, and people are seeing it, and they're thinking, in the next minute, you're telling me things like there's more people doing the fellowship, and I think on a whole, it's a massive positive for it. So I think more of that, and it's great for you to come on this channel and chat away about it. But I think
I mean, I got into Facebook because, for a start, as I say, I'm at the age now where it's difficult to stay cutting edge, but my first book, Farriers Forge, The Racehorse, was the first Farrier book in all colour.
Right, okay.
They've all had to be in all colour since then.
Yeah.
Because it set a standard.
Yeah.
It set a bar, like you say.
Yeah.
And so I always bear that in mind. I would say that when I chose everything from the quality of the paper to hardback, my wife Beverly said, go for the best. You're only going to do this once.
Yeah.
Well, little did she know, and little did I know. But I think that's the point, that I hope everybody keeps pushing it up another notch all the time.
Yeah.
So I always, people that have seen my presentations, I like things to look nice. Now I joke about it and say it's the triumph of presentation over content. But of course, if the content isn't good, people soon find you out. They say he's got pretty pictures, but he knows nothing. So we have to get a balance. But I think if the content's good and the presentation's good, then it's really the right thing, and that's what I try to do with all my books. And this next one, I mean, we've got a new company because it's so long I've been doing it. That the company I did it with before got bought out and then went bust.
Right. Okay.
So I had to find all new people. Which is not a bad thing. To start over again.
Fresh start. For yeah. So the new book is out on the 12th. Is it 12th of November? And you're doing a virtual launch.
Yeah, which everybody needs to remember. Virtual means virtual. It's like there is nobody should come to my forge and expect there to be a party. We're going to try and do a few things that make it interesting on November 12th. We've already got people signing up, and of course we've already got the book taking pre-orders, which I never did before.
Right. Okay, that's great.
That is not my part of the department. I write the book. I do my best to write it. I get told how things are going. But there comes a point where you have to pull in the people that have the skills,
of course,
and the knowledge of how to do this.
But if anyone is interested in Simon's new book, just remind us what's the name of the book?
The name of the book is The Hoof of the Horse. So you're going to say, so what's it about?
What's the book all about?
Okay. The reason I wrote it is I realised, examining farriers, that you get lads who know everything about the blood supply to the horse's foot, everything about the tendons and ligaments of the leg. They can do you a beautiful cross-section through a bone, they know everything about it. And then you say to them, how does the hoof grow? And the mouth drops open, they go, And I start thinking, you know, this is what we have in our hands every day, this hoof. We don't operate on the tendons. We rarely see a bone, and it's usually bad news if we see a bone. We need to know, this needs to be our primary knowledge, the hoof. So that's what got me thinking, and at first I thought, there's not enough there to write a whole book about the hoof. Well, there is. The book is over 60,000 words, 250 pictures, and to put that in perspective, that makes it slightly bigger than Fault the Racehorse.
Right, okay.
So I tried to write everything there is to know about the hoof. So of course there has to be an anatomy chapter, but there's also physiology. Knowing the names of things is all well and good. The most important thing is, how do they work? What's the material properties of horn? What happens to it when it's overloaded? What happens to it when it's not loaded? I've written a chapter on the evolution of the digit. So the horse is a very interesting thing, its evolution. It's often studied by paleontologists because it went from this little thing that's only 30 centimetres high, you know, a foot high, running around the woods like a deer, with 4 toes in front and 3 behind. Right, okay. And then it went out on the grasslands, and its teeth changed, of course, because it started eating grass, not trees. It got bigger, it started losing toes, and I don't mean they were dropping off individuals, until it arrived at our horse, which is not as big as we imagine, because of course we've bred it bigger. But it was probably, it may have been 12 to 14 hands, and a single toe. And so there's a chapter on that. There's a chapter on hoof shape. I got very interested in hoof shape in my PhD. We know that hoof shape is linked to unsoundness. There's always this question, is the horse unsound because of that hoof shape, or is the hoof that shape because of its unsoundness? Now that's a you know, chicken and egg thing, and that's an interesting thing. So that's the first section of the book. I then did a section of the book which I call the development of the hoof, and my sort of subtitle for that is the 5 ages of the hoof. So the first age of the hoof is within the uterus. Now, we don't tend to see them within the uterus, but it's quite an interesting time how quickly a horse has a hoof on it in its 11 months in the uterus. Then, of course, the moment the foal is born, it stands up. Well, human children lay on their back screaming for 8 months, or so I'm told. I've got 4 children, but I made sure I never witnessed that. Horses have to stand up and follow their mother, follow their herd, get away from predators. For me, that's something we don't think about enough, that it's ready to go.
It's ready,
That's extraordinary. And of course, then the most rapid time of change is that from birth to about 4 or 5 months.
Right.
Which is why I've always been interested in foals. Everything is changing. They double their weight in the first month. They treble their weight in 2 months.
Right.
And yet the hoof can't keep up with that. So that causes issues to the hoof. The other thing I should say about this book, which sets it apart from the others, if somebody's looking for a manual of how to trim or how to shoe, this is not the place to go.
Right.
No, it's a knowledge book. Now, I'm hoping people, again, gain knowledge and it helps them be better farriers, better vets, or better hoof trimmers, people that just choose to do that. And then we go to the weanling stage. It's still changing very rapidly. Weanling yearlings are partners who changes in their body size and condition, and of course towards the end of the yearling they're getting more exercise and the hooves are under more stress. Stress does unusual things to the hoof, and so we sort of explore that.
Right,
and foals do not get cracks in the hooves. They sometimes get a little crack at the toe when that fetal hoof has almost grown out. But by the end of their yearling time, it's when horses start putting more stress on their feet. And maybe they get neglected. There's other cracks through neglect. So the 4th age of the horse's hoof is maturity, and that's the age that the horse has been bred for. That's the age, whether it's a racehorse, it's racing, whether it's a cutting horse, it's being ridden, whether it's a draft horse, it's pulling a load. So maturity is what everything's aimed at. Getting the horse there. And then of course we've got to remember horses go into old age, they get retired, they have an accumulation of injuries to their feet often. There's very few horses go through all those phases and don't end up in old age, and they deserve to be looked after. They've served us, and they need looking after in their retirement. And of course some of them aren't even retired, some of them are still breeding, some of them are stallions, are covering theirs, but they're old, and hooves have certain issues. They probably don't have any that are particularly their old age, but you see some conditions a lot more. I mean, how many 2-year-olds get laminitis? How many 18-year-olds get? Way more. So there are conditions that are more prevalent in old age, and so we need to know about them. We need to think about the old age horse. So that's that middle section of the book. And then the last section on the hoof is what affects it. Well, the environment affects it, doesn't it? We've had a hot summer this year, unbelievably hot summer. Some places are hot summers every year. Some places are very wet, and and the horses, their feet are often almost constantly wet. That has and of course then it also has an effect horses in our man-made environment. The stable bedding is man-made. There is a difference between straw and paper and wood shavings, what it does to the hoof. I'm sure you recognise that. I mean, I love wood shavings on horses' hooves. I don't mind straw, I hate paper. So we have man-made environments. We have lots of conditions that attack the hoof. All these microbes from the moment the horse is born are trying to get in. And they're trying to attack the hoof. There must be something about this room that's making both of us unable to pronounce simple words. Anyway, they attack the hoof, microbes, and of course they cause various conditions. I won't go through those. And then finally, I have my last 2 chapters are trimming the hoof and shoeing the hoof. Now, as I said, it's not a manual, so I've looked at it from a hoof-centric way. Not how do you trim a hoof, what happens when you trim it.
That's interesting.
Not how do you shoe a horse, but what happens when we shoe it. It isn't just the penetration of nails. We totally change the loading of the hoof. So I hope that's convinced you that there's enough. That's a rapid run through of why there is room in this world for a book just about the hoof.
Just about the hoof, yeah.
And I think, I don't mind saying, I'm not writing this book for people studying for their diploma.
No.
I'm writing it because I know there are enough nerdy people out there who just want as much information.
And I know, you know, a lot of my audience is Farriers. Farrier, you're right about this room. So I know a lot of the guys that are watching this video are, you know, Farrier or even, you know, hoof related, you know, whatever that may be.
Hoof care professionals.
Hoof care professionals, shall we say. Yeah. But I think, listening to you talk about the book, this could be for horse owners, this could be anyone with an interest in the equine, in the foot care, whatever it may be, I
hope so. It's, I know, I mean, lots of vets buy my books. Sometimes nearly as many as farriers, but I've always primarily written for farriers. I would say I did think about this book, and I know there's sometimes some antagonism between farriers and hoof trimmers, but farriers need to get as much interest in the horse's hoof as hoof trimmers, because I know they'll buy it. Or barefoot trimmers is sometimes called. Now, for somebody like me who has worked in India and seen farrier shoe horses without any shoes on, when somebody says barefoot trimmer, it gives me a totally different vision, but we all know what they mean. I tend to call it the unshod horse.
Right.
You know, hoof care for the unshod horse, and you know, I wouldn't say for all of my career I've trimmed more horses than I've shod, but certainly for the last 25 years I've done more stud farm work than shoeing, and it's just as important trimming as shoeing. But the knowledge behind it is what makes us understand why a hoof is, shall we say, distorting out of shape, to put it simply. And there are lots of new things in this book. I mean, genuinely new things. The new things I spoke about in my PhD, they're in that middle section of the book. Right. Because that's what my PhD was about. How does loading affect development? So here's a question, right? If foals are born with symmetrical hooves which are perfectly paired, left to right, which they are, how many horses do we see at 8 years old?
That odd feet.
That don't have odd feet, that have even feet and symmetrical.
Very few.
Farriers will always remark on it because it's so unusual. So that was a big question in this book, and I hope there's explanations. That doesn't necessarily mean it's actually a bad thing that hooves, they should be asymmetric as individuals, but it's also been proven scientifically that horses that are more symmetrical left to right, near 4 to off 4, actually do have a higher performance level, and they survive longer. Now, that's two things that mean it's important for us to understand what's going on, and the more we can help either get horses there or keep them there. We also have to understand that just, should we say, radically changing the hoof shape just because we want it to look like so is also a bad thing. So we have to get the balance. You know, we have to know how much we can do, and we have to understand what's going on. And so I hope the book helps people to understand how we can affect loading. I mean, it is loading that changes shape. And I don't. There's a difference between weight bearing and loading. Right? They're often mixed up. If I stand up, I have a certain weight. I'm not going to say what it is, because it's about 10 kilos more than it should be. But, shall we say I split my weight 45 kilos down each leg, which would be unusual. Shall we say it's 40 to 50? That's loading, so I'm loading one leg more. Now if we take that foot, if we looked at that foot on a pressure mat, we'd see that I don't even bear weight evenly across my foot. And although a horse has a far simpler base, it doesn't. It's extraordinarily rare for it to bear weight, to load it evenly
across the entire surface.
And since we know, or at least I think I was probably the first person that directly showed how loading affects hoof growth. So if we put all those together, we know that horses don't bear weight evenly between either left and right. They don't bear weight evenly on a single foot. We know that hoof is affected by uneven loading. Now we know how they grow out of shape. Of course, the next question is, can we alter it? Should we alter it?
Should we alter
but
it?
there are
Yeah.
other questions. From every every question that you get an answer to, funnily enough, you do find there's 2 other questions.
Yeah.
So that is all in the Hoof of the Horse.
In the Hoof of the Horse. Well, sounds very interesting. Yeah. Certainly a book I'm looking forward to reading when I get my hands on it. And I'll say it again. It is the 12th of November that it is coming out. So so be sure to. You can pre-purchase it.
You can pre-purchase them. Yeah. We have a website, and I really ought to remember the name. I think it's Simon Curtis Books. It might be Simon Curtis Farrier Books.
I'll drop a link below, you'll find it.
And that actually has, so wherever you are in the world, we've put all our dealers up.
Right. Okay.
So there are suppliers around the world.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's cheaper to buy in your own country than buying direct from here.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I don't mind. It's like I'm just happy anybody that buys a book. So whether they buy directly off us or buy through the suppliers, it doesn't matter.
So after the launch of the book,
you
know, hopefully everyone goes ahead and purchases your book. What's the plan then? You know, is there going to be another book to look forward to, or are you going to take a bit of time off?
This is the sad thing about me. I don't do much time off. I have a number of hobbies and things I do.
Right.
Not least my garden, which gives me great joy. I have a lot of bookings for next year.
Is this,
for speaking presentations, both at scientific conferences and one-offs just for me, and I've got 2 separate invites to Australia, which I'm looking forward to. Both in, I spoke in Sydney perhaps 20 years ago, so an invite there, but I've never spoken in Brisbane, so I'm there. Quite a lot. I seem to be flavour of the month at the moment in the Scandinavian countries, 2 invites to Finland, 1 to Denmark, and 1 to Norway. Actually, somebody's going to kill me in Finland. Finland isn't a Scandinavian country; it's a Nordic country. So so quite a lot of invites. The International Hoof Care Summit, which is the big one in America, which is a great one to speak at because there's sometimes 1,250 farriers there, and that's good fun when you get that many there. That's a great thing to go to. So lots of bookings for next year. I'm still off to Spain in about 3 weeks' time to speak to farriers there, and up to Scotland. Yeah. They've even invited me across the border. Invited this Sassenach, so I'm speaking at the Glasgow Vet.
And I think you're actually at is it Myerscough College in December? Which
I am, but I did that thing where I put it online straight away on my Facebook, and now found it's a closed conference. I mean, you can attend as a student. It's only for their degree. Oh, okay. And they're old degree students. Yeah. But I didn't know that at the time. Oh, so I've already caused problems because there's various people who want to go. But that's what happens. We were talking about Facebook where you can make mistakes. That's not a bad mistake. No, not. And then of course the wider thing. So I'm still getting invites. I think because of my PhD, people that know this book on the Hoof of the Horse is coming out are inviting me because of that. Yeah. But in the future, yes, I've already got one project underway with 2 other farriers who want to do a book with me, and we're beyond the planning stage. Writing has started. That we're hoping it's out in about 18 or 20 months. So I'm not either prepared to tell you who it's with or the working title, because we always have a working title. Look forward to that one. I've had a long-term project on just photographing farriers shoeing, which is a non-technical book. It's just a feel-good book. Right. Okay. Because I have this thing that there are farriers all over the world. They're showing these interesting, different horses. And almost all of them are characters. So if I can capture someone, I'm not a great photographer, but of course, digital photography makes this all good photography, because you take 1,000 pictures and 3 of them are good. And people say, well, that's a nice picture, Simon. You want to see the rest.
Well, that's why you should be pushing your Instagram a bit more, because that's the platform for good photography. All right, well, I'll take your advice on that. We'll try and we'll see Simon on Instagram in the near future, I'm sure.
And you will have pushed me in that direction, so thanks for that. A couple of other books. I was saying that foal to racehorse, I realised that although a foal is a foal, the fact that it's got the title racehorse in sort of put off 90% of the population. So that's been a great seller. what I really need to do is redo it, and at some point I will. But I'm not even going to edit it. I'm going to start again because it's 20 years down the line, and I don't know what the title will be, but it'll be something like "Foal to Mature Horse" or "Farrier Foal to Equine Athlete" or something. And so I will sort of take the training bit out, and because as you can tell now I know a lot more, gained a lot more information. I hope I've got better at writing actually. You know, I've now been doing it for so long.
Now you've got this little office.
Yeah, exactly. I can sit in my little, in the middle of my own paradise and write. One day maybe a book for horse owners. As I say, I have this sort of primary target of farriers and secondary target of vets. And then if there's any horse owners or others that are interested, fine, I'm not going to try and stop you buying.
No.
So you can see, so there's lots of projects that will keep me going.
Very busy by the sounds of it.
Well, I've really, this is my last week showing yearlings. I've told my clients that next year, that's it. And that actually leaves me with about 6 horses that I shoe. But probably, I think I counted up about 170 foals or so.
Really?
Which was still enough to...
Yeah, that's a lot.
You know, I think that's why you have to manage your career, because if you shoe too many horses, it kills you. If you shoe a few, it's better than going in the gym. It's cheaper and it keeps you going. So I'm sort of trying to have my cake and eat it. I'm trying to cut down gradually.
You obviously still enjoy it, you still love doing it. You want to keep going, and I think it's great.
Still have full enthusiasm, you can see, for the job.
Watch from fall off to the sales or wherever it may be. It's a really nice thing seeing them, and as I say, I still get a kick out of actually seeing the horse and the hoof develop. So I still get a kick out of it all. I don't know, somebody might say get a life, but you know, that's my life, and I wouldn't knock it, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world, really. And is there any little bit of tip that you can maybe give some of the audience, maybe some of the younger farriers that may be watching this, a little tip that you may have picked up over your career?
I think, let's see, a number of tips, but I think stay motivated. You can see I'm motivated. If you're not motivated, change something. Do it something else, I think, I know this sounds a bit soft, but always be kind to horses, you know? People pick up on that, and they notice it. Okay, all of us get a horse that we hate. All of us get one that wants to bite us or kick us. But to be quite honest, they are a wonderful animal, and I think we should enjoy working with them. They're beautiful animals. They are the supreme athlete of all animals. Actually, I've got that in my book.
Have you?
Yeah, because you know they're the fastest animal over 20 miles.
Right, okay.
Do you know who's the second fastest?
Over 20 miles?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Us.
Oh.
I often look in a mirror in the morning and think,
wouldn't be me.
you could beat all other animals but horses. I think that's us measuring sort of long distance runners against any horse. But over, should we say, 500 metres or a quarter of a mile, they are the fastest animal.
Unbelievable animal.
Because I know a cheetah for 100 yards or 100 metres will beat a horse. So over a short distance, over a long distance, the horse is extraordinary. And we're a big part of that. We're a big part of, you know, when it comes to, shall we say, you know, most horses are domesticated horses. Then we're a big part of helping them achieve that by protecting their hooves, by giving them more purchase. It's sometimes forgotten that about shoeing. Actually, a lot of the things we ask horses to do is unreasonable unless they have some shoes on. And we're a big part of that. So I'm not sure where that is in giving people tips, but as you can see, I still, you know, I think about the job, enjoy it. Okay, the other thing from a professional point of view, I think we all need a 5-year plan. I'm not talking about the old Soviet 5-year plan, which always went wrong. You need a 5-year plan in your career always. The thing is to say, where do I want to be? Now, very few of us actually get there, but you can alter a plan. If you have no plan in your life, then you're just drifting along.
You need to have that direction.
And I think even if it's I want to shoe this type of horse or that type of horse, I want to move somewhere, I want to do this. If it's I want to get out of shoeing, but this is what I want to do, then fine. But I think I think farriers are quite bad at that, of not planning ahead. As I say, very few plans go perfectly, but it's better to have a plan that you can adapt than no plan at all.
No plan at all.
So have a plan.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Well, you've heard it here from Simon Curtis. Thank you very much, Simon. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been great.
Yeah, thank you very much. The book will be out in a couple of weeks, unless I get this video up beforehand. So the book is coming out in the very near future, so be sure to check out the links below. I will drop a link to Simon's Facebook page. Although your friend list might be full, his fan page will also be on there, so if you haven't already, do check that out. And yeah, thanks again, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on another video. Take care.
Thanks, Alex.
Cheers, Simon. Thank you. Okay guys, so that's a wrap. I want to say a big thank you to Simon for doing this interview with me. Great guy, also a really good book. As you can see, you know, it's a nice book, nice hardback book, and it is gold. He calls it the Golden Hoof, but it is a really nice book. It's been very well put together. You know, really nicely put, gold text. Apparently there's 250 images in this book. I'm flicking through, you can see them. You know, there are a lot of pictures. Simon credits people they're not pictures of his own. And the chapters are all laid out beautifully. A really interesting book. Chapter 7, the hoof of the mature horse. Chapter 6, the weanling and the yearling phase. Fascinating, guys. Fascinating book. Highly recommended. I haven't had a chance to read through it all yet. Just made a start with it. But the book is out as of today. I'll drop a link into the description below where you can get your copies from. But yeah, a nice book to have. Simon says it's not a reference book. It's more of a, you need to read it from, you know, front to back. But make your own minds up, guys. But I'd highly recommend it. As I said, drop a link in the description below. So thanks again for watching. I look forward to the next video. Take care.